All right. What we got here? Mess up my board here. Can I get some action? As soon as I see one pop up. All right, good morning. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Glad to be here on this fine Thursday morning. Kind of running on fumes. I had to stay up last night and put the finishing touches on this cake that I made. I had to drop a coconut. My lady's birthday is today, and that's her favorite kind, so put that together for her as part of birthday celebrations. Not really big on it, but I got to play along at times. But, anyway, enough of that. Today starts the last week, third week of preseason games. You got 2 games tonight. I think you have Pittsburgh and Carolina. Then you also have New England and the Giants. Tomorrow you have 4 games, and then the last 10 games are going to be on Saturday. And they'll take a week and a half off and tee it up that Thursday night after Labor Day. Everybody else pretty much will be in full swing by the time the NFL kicks off. So that means that this weekend there'll be a couple college games scattered around. I believe they're playing that Ireland game this week. And after that, on the 30th, then you have a full swing of college action. Everybody's going to be in action by that time. And that week is going to be headlined by Texas and Ohio State. Everybody's talking about Texas as number 1, but they're going into Ohio State as an underdog to the number 3. So you figure that out. If they're supposed to be the best team in the nation, why are they going in as an underdog? Everybody's talking about Arch Manning and how great he's supposed to be. Well, had he played last year, they would have beat Ohio State. Well, he get his chance now. I think the advantage goes to Texas because Ohio State is one of those kind of teams like, Michigan. They usually play the first couple of games as a tune-up. They don't usually jump out the gate with a tough opponent, and they use that to get the kinks out. But coming in with a big opponent like Texas now, it's be kind of tough on them. But the thing is, though, that both teams can go back and look at the game that they played in the playoffs last year, and they can begin from there. So should be a pretty good game, but everybody wants to see this so-called great quarterback dominate. I just don't see it happening. And he's made the news recently. He said something about Archie stepped out of, his granddaddy stepped out of line about trying to dictate what his future was going to be. And he immediately said he didn't know anything about that. And I think the kid was right there. Just because you made the Hall of Fame and did whatever, it doesn't mean you got the right to just tell a kid what he should do, or what he must do. And he was kind of like speaking out of turn in that particular time. But what I want to talk about today, how tough are athletes today? The Cowboys have a documentary going around. I think it's like a three video series. And everybody's talking about how tough Jimmy Johnson was, some of the things he used to do. When the team would lose, sometimes he would not let the team be fed. So he would cut people for minor things and let other people get away with stuff. But his thing was, everybody not going to be treated the same. You're going to treat you fair, but not the same. So a star on the team is going to get a different treatment than an average player. So one cat, he fell asleep in the meeting. He wasn't one of the top tier players, so they cut him. I know one time Michael Irvin, he arrived late for the plane, they left him. He would do stuff like that. Had an old school tough style discipline, and you miss a practice or a meeting, they have you running, also fine you, and there was a lot more contact back then, and overall the players were just tougher than what you have today, in my opinion. But it said that this type of coach that Johnson was, he wouldn't be able to get away with some of the things that he did if he were coaching today. Well, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, he can adjust his methods just a little bit, but to instill tough discipline and tough consequences, I think that still can be done. Now, the reason people say that he couldn't get away with that, especially on the college level, because with NIL, these guys are packing up and leaving if the wind don't quite blow right. If you think you're supposed to play X amount of snaps, take a guy like Travis Hunter. Let's just say he signs with a team with the expectation that he's going to be on the field all the time. Well, if he signs with the team and then when he gets to practice and in the games they don't use him like that, he's likely to transfer. He's not going to stick around because that's not what he was expecting. And a lot of these players now, if it's like contractual, if you don't give me this or give me that, and this other guy's offering me this or that, then I'm going to bolt. And until something is done to put a cap on this limitless transfer, then it's always going to be that way. So what's the use of being too tough on a guy if he's not going to be there? So I still think it goes down to this. The prima donnas, the great players, you're going to have X amount of those if you expect to reach the highest heights. But if you're going to run a program right and win with guys who are trying to do things right, I think you can do that without as many athletes that are top tier, because athletes just a step lower than that, if they combine together, they can beat some of these players, some of these teams with the bigger players. So it would be interesting to see if tough discipline could be instilled. Now, Prime in Colorado, he's got a system where he's punishing players, doing extra running and push-ups and things for violating team rules, and that is kind of like a similarity to what Jimmy Johnson was doing, because as you know, Prime, he came up through all that tough discipline too, so he understands how that works. But overall, I just don't think the athletes are tough enough to deal with that real tough discipline, even during the games. If you hit one of them hard enough, which looked like a little scratch to me, they want to come out and they got to sit out for 2 or 3 games, and then when you find out what's wrong with them, it's no big deal. But to them, it's life-changing, and it occurs all the time. Blake Forever, how you doing, man? This guy, Reception 004, keeps asking me about Lamar. I answered that question yesterday. I got nothing against Lamar. You must be the agent for him or something. So if you get a message to Lamar, tell him to throw the damn ball when they have to. That's the only thing I think about Lamar. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this guy. Blake, what's going on, man? I told you guys before, I know if you were on before, but you know, I got like this baseball team, and we were playing in the district playoffs. And I don't know if you know how it works, but the regular season, that really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's the district that determines how far you go in the state playoffs. It's the precursor to the state playoffs, and everybody's eligible for it. So we come in, and we put together a game finally, and we're up by 3 runs going into the bottom of the 7th. Man, all we need is 3 outs to advance to the next round. But the guy that I had in the DH position, he had a meltdown. He wants to reach the highest heights out of his mouth. But when push came to shove, he didn't stand up to that. In other words, once the kid found out in the beginning of the game that he was DH, he can go on the field but not hit. Oh, his attitude continually decreased until we got to the bottom of the 7th where we needed 3 outs. We had a 3-run lead, and the players pretty much had to drag him onto the field. I caught wind of it, but I didn't have nobody to put in his place. You can't pull a kid out of the game and have below the amount of players that you need. In other words, you can't pull an infielder out put him on the bench and you got nobody to replace him with and play with under the number without somebody being hurt. The kid wasn't hurt, so I couldn't pull him out of the game. But his attitude was glaring. And as the game went on, it just got worse. And by the time we got to the bottom of the seventh to win the game, they had to drag him out on the field. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But I was also in a position I really couldn't do a whole lot about it. But the kids are underclassmen. I could do something about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. But at the same time, that never would have happened in my day. Even if I didn't play as much as I wanted to, or in the capacity that I wanted to, if my team was in a position to win the game, we were going to win the game. All the other stuff went out the window because we got to the point of we can win this game. But not nowadays. If the kid didn't hit, he had a problem. He didn't want to play. He had attitude. Or he bats and he doesn't go in the field, he might have a problem with that. I mean, I got to do what's best for the team, and I just happened to put together the right lineup, and we were right there. And just to have something like that is greatly disappointing, especially knowing that that could never occurred when I was playing. Not because the coaches wouldn't allow it, because we didn't have enough players to replace a guy like that, but we had more pride as players not to even go down that road. But these kids nowadays, I think it all formulated when they start coming up with these trophies where you give it to everybody just for participating. And if you're not familiar with that, they have leagues now where everybody gets a trophy. Your team might be the worst team ever invented. You're a football team and you're getting beat 48-0 every week, and at the end of the season they give you a trophy. I don't want that. I didn't even want a second place trophy. So what the hell I'm going to do with a damn 14th place trophy when I know I'm getting beat by 50 points every game? But these kids, they don't understand that. And it all comes from the parenting. Mom doesn't want her kid to have hurt feelings because that kid over there got a trophy for winning and I don't have anything. So let's get him something. Not realizing that this is destroying a whole lot of things on a social level. You got a bunch of soft kids that you're raising, and that is not good. And they entitled, they feel like they should be able to do what they want to do, and as they go up through the ranks, and if you're a really good athlete, people tend to give you concessions, and it gets worse. So what can we do as a sports community to flip this around? And I got a problem with it. All right. Frank Forever says you understand. I'm asking you, do you think these guys are tough? Most of you are saying yes. All right, for anybody that's saying that these athletes are tough, give me an example of how these guys are tough now. These guys are athletic. Yeah, they probably more athletic than athletes overall have ever been. But tough? No. You can't tell me that today's athletes are tough. So somebody who thinks that that is the case, tell me how you figure that. I played football for a lot of years. Got cheap shot it twice. I went down. I was playing quarterback, and I come in. I was back at the time. I dropped back to pass. We losing. I mean, I'm trying to do the best I can. You know, I know we're not going to win the game, but who knows? You get a spark. Maybe that spark turns into something else. Well, I dropped back to pass, and when you got backups in the game, the other team got backups too. So that defensive lineman over there, he might have hadn't played the whole game. So first chance he get, if he get a chance to hit somebody, he's going to do it. So I dropped back to pass and let one fly. And the mistake I made, I stood there and watched it. Well, about a second or two after I let it go, boom. Cat hit me on the head, on the chin with a helmet. All I saw was a patch of blue. Wow. My jaw, I don't know why it didn't break, but it didn't. It hurt me for a couple of days, and then when I got to the sideline, I had blood on my chin strap, inside the chin strap. I still got it, by the way, and that's the first time I got cheap shotted. Then in college, the guy hit me from the side. You know, I run into play, and he came up behind from the side where I couldn't see him, and it pushed me right in the head. My neck went all the way over to the side. And as I'm witnessing or going through it. I'm trying to figure out what the hell going on. That's not right. Cat hit me in the head. Now these guys in college, they're benching 400 or 500 pounds. So he did a bench press move on me, and my head went like that. But where it went to me, it was like a slow motion reaction, and I don't know why my neck didn't break. So both times I got hit on the chin. I didn't break my jaw, and then I could have had my neck broke. But you know what I did? I got up and went back to the huddle, and we ran another play. Why? Because anytime you step on that football field, you are subject to whatever happens to you, whether it's right or wrong. In that case, either case, my teammates, they didn't step up. They should have stepped up. And in practice that day, that coach, he didn't say nothing. It's expected that you get up off the campus and get ready for the next play. But had one of these kids got hit like I hit both times, they wouldn't have got up. So when you guys say that most of these athletes today are tougher, they weren't tougher than me, because I know doggone well I got up when a lot of them were not. And I've seen guys come out with scratches, and they got to go get x-rayed and so on and so forth. Man, give me a break, man. They have 1,000 water breaks in high school now. I understand staying hydrated, but you know, if a kid doesn't know that he needs to drink some water, what's wrong with him is the question. If you're thirsty, you know you need to get some water to face litigation. But you know as a player that you're going to take care of that when you have to. All right, I'm not getting very many votes today. Do you think athletes are tough? I don't know. But I think Jimmy Johnson, the way, you know, his whole approach, I mean, football is a tough sport, man. You can't legislate contact out of the game, and I think that's what they're trying to do. But as long as the contact is there and big people are fighting against other big people, and there are big bodies all over the place, and there's high contact everywhere, there's wholesale violence taking place every snap on that offensive line. And you got to be tough, man. I mean, when you look at the people that go to college and the pros, the farther along you go, the tougher you get. But these other guys, they don't want to play. They just want to put the uniform on. And especially in high school, some of these schools, these guys, they're all big and tough walking through the hallways on a Friday night before a game. But when they get to the stadium and that other team is over there, all of a sudden they're not acting so tough. Why is that? Because you know in your heart that you're not really tough enough to go out here and play football, and that's what is required. So I've seen it a lot of times. I've seen it in several different places. JC, how you doing, man? I don't know if I spoke to you or not. I've seen it a lot of places, man, and you can't tell me that these guys are tougher. It sounds good, and a lot of people give athletes of the day more grace than past athletes, but we past athletes know the situation. These guys, they're just not tough enough. But Jimmy Johnson, I think his style would be welcome. He would face a lot of criticism and backlash until they realize he's not going to back off it, and then he's going to go on doing what he needed to do. There are still some coaches out there. They just don't cuss as much or cuss very little, but they're a matter of fact in what they're doing. So if you say one thing and you don't adhere to what they're talking about, they're just going to pull the plug on you and go find somebody else. And I think that's just the way to handle that. Other than that, you're just opening yourself up for problems. And I think that Jimmy Johnson would be successful, and eventually it's going to come back to that. But in my heart, I truly believe that the NFL is itching for the day that they can turn pro football into flag football, and then they're going to make it co-ed. That's just my honest opinion. I probably won't see it, but if you're 15, 16 listening to this, by the time you 55, my age, you're going to see flag football in the NFL, and it's going to be co-ed. Mark my word on that. All right. So I didn't really have a whole lot to talk about today, but people are talking about the documentary that the Cowboys have and how Jimmy Johnson was tough. And the question is, would the athletes today be able to deal with a coach like Johnson, and are they tough enough to handle a coach like Johnson? All these older guys my age, they probably had a coach like Johnson before because it was more common. But now it would be very uncommon, and the coach himself would be facing a lot of backlash. And it's just interesting to see that how these guys run around like they're the greatest in the world. They don't even wear pads a whole lot in the NFL, the lower legs anyway. They run across the middle unchecked, and then when they make all these high yardage gains, people say, "Oh, these guys must be the greatest ever." Well, anybody's great. It's like running against air. If the defense can't play and hit you, then I guess you are the great player. But take the training wheels off that defense and let them play. Then you'll see who really are the tough guys. And the tough guys are going to instantly rise to the top. Not to say that some of these guys couldn't make the plays, but I guarantee you, the stars that you're championing now, they won't be the same ones who will get the praise after the defense is allowed to play football again. And that's just the way it is. All right. Yay, Hunter, I don't know what you're saying. We grew up in a different time. Blake, you must be about my age. Yeah, but, everything old is not bad either. I think that these kids, they need to get hit sometimes, man. Run across the middle. Just let the defense play some football, man. Michael Parsons plays tough, or would you say it's athleticism? I say it's athleticism. Michael Parsons' biggest criticism is he can't stop. He's not good at the run. You got to be tough up front to stop the run. If you can't stop the run, then is he really tough? Back they were real tough. No Neymar. We were getting cursed out at 8 years old back in the day. Well, I'm not saying that you should mistreat the kids. I'm just saying that call it what it is. Football is a tough game. It's a dangerous game. And if you don't believe it, every now and then somebody comes up paralyzed. I could have easily been paralyzed and that guy hit me upside the head and my neck bent over to the side like that. I mean, anything can happen. So you got to be ready for anything. And if you got those pads on, you got to expect anything. So I got up from my two vicious cheap shots. But a lot of the players I see now today, that wouldn't be the case. All right. So anyway, that bell was my cue. I got to get up out of here, man. Got to go sign in. So I'm asking you guys today, do you think athletes are tough? And right now, the truth is coming out. Most of you are saying no, and you are in agreement with me because I don't think these guys. JC says Steelers had the toughest players back in the day. Well, Lambert, Mean Joe Green, all those guys, it didn't make no difference what team you played on because they ran the football. Some of these high school offenses you see like the wing T, that's what we were doing back in the 70s in pro football. And bump and run on the receivers. They can beat you up all the way down the field until the ball went in the air. And that's kind of hard to judge. And guys like Atkinson for the Raiders, they tried to kill Lynn Swann, hitting him way after the whistle, chasing him behind and punching him in the back of the head, doing all kind of illegal, vicious stuff. And that's the kind of things they did back then. They put bounties on players. I'm not saying that is correct, but that's just the way it is. Mel Blount was tough. A lot of great players back then were tough. But if you want to see some real good, hard-nosed football, isolate the offensive and defensive lines, and you can see how those guys be getting after it. And you don't let you grab the face mask anymore, but a lot of times he butt you under the chin and poke you in the eyes, and on the bottom of the pile, forget about it. All kind of crap was going on. So you had to be tough to survive football, but now it's becoming a flag football league with pads on, and sometimes it can be hard to watch. But anyway, I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. I got to get up out of here, man. Got to go sign in, go to work. So if there's some breaking news, I'll catch you guys in the morning about 6:30. So have a great day wherever you are. This has been Sports for Real. I'm out. I keep telling y'all